Hey everyone, I'm your host Rae Irelan, and you are listening to the Soul Aligned podcast, where we help high achieving leaders and driven visionaries do what you love and live your purpose. Welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about what does growth mindset mean? What does it actually mean? I know kind of growth and mindset, these are some terms that are kind of just thrown around really easily, but when it gets down to it, it can really completely change your life, your relationships, and your business. So I think growth mindset is something that I always strived for. I was like, yes, I'm always going to have this. And yet, sometimes I would find myself almost getting stuck in understanding, how do I even get a growth mindset, especially in this moment, like when we're triggered or when things aren't working? How do we move through that and look and find something and be in a way that is solution oriented? It's easy to do when everything's working, right? But when things are a little bit crazy or chaotic, what do we do then? So there's three things that I like to think about when talking about the growth mindset and what it actually means. So number one, it means that you are aware of what's working. So what is working? What's going well? What can we celebrate about this moment or this situation or this experience? Again, it's easy to do when things are working, right? It's like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I love life. I love my business. Things are going so great. But once things are not going so well, it can be really challenging to be focusing on and bringing awareness to what is actually working, because we can get so caught up in focusing on everything that's not working. The thing is wherever we put our attention on, that is the thing that will be growing and expanding, right? There's a phrase of, I grew up with the phrase actually with, the grass is always greener on the other side. And then I love this phrase that I heard around the grass is always greener wherever you water it, right? Wherever you put your focus, that's what's going to grow. So say something is going wrong, you're in a difficult situation. Maybe there's something getting triggered within relationships, or a part of your business isn't working, or there's chaos or shutdown, whatever it is. Okay, are you focusing on that, or are you focusing on what's working? So that is step number one to our amazing growth mindset that I think if you're here, you're probably wanting to figure out how to dial it in even more. So step number two of what does it mean to have a growth mindset is to go into, okay, what is not working here? So, if things are working, it can be challenging to actually go into this place of like, wait, what's not working? And it really provides a new opportunity to look at the situation or experience from a different perspective to see, okay, what else is possible? And this is really the work of the dreamers, the visionaries, the game changers, the innovators, right? If something's working, okay, well, what's working about it? But also, what's not working? There's always improvements that we can have. And then say, if something is not working, sometimes we can get into the emotion of it, right? And it's like it can feel heavy and too much and chaotic and stressful. And so it's actually sometimes even difficult to pinpoint what is actually not working here, instead of just feeling like, oh, we're going to throw the whole thing out, right? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Make sure that you start to investigate what it is specifically that is not working, so that way you can start to make the micro adjustments to be having a more awesome relationship, better conversations, better communication, maybe more growth in your business, maybe more sales. You always need to do these little pinpoint micro adjustments. And the more that you can do these micro adjustments, the less that you'll have to do these big, huge macro adjustments that can feel really chaotic and harsh on the body as well. So that is number two. So number one, it means that you are aware of what is working. Number two, you're aware of what's not working. And number three, can you guess it? Number three, having a growth mindset means that you are dedicated to making adjustments, making new commitments, right? Depending on the results that you're seeing. So you might be in a situation where you're seeing results. Oh, well, that's life, right? So you see results. You see results in how your relationships are going and how your business is going, where the numbers at, all of these things, right? So what I see happens often with people that maybe haven't developed their growth mindset as much is that they get lost in the results that are happening to them and the circumstances that are happening to them. And so it becomes difficult to actually move through and create a new reality. It's almost like they take these situations, circumstances, results on as their identity. And so what we can be doing instead is to step back a bit and say, okay, what is working? What is not working? What are the results that I'm getting here? And what are the results that I want, right? And what do I need to do differently to get the result that I want? And now it always starts internally, right? Our beliefs dictate our thoughts, which create our feelings and our emotions, which create our actions, which then lead to our results. So sometimes if we have results that we're not wanting, we just need to backtrack down that and see, okay, what is that core belief that is driving me to feel this way, that is driving me to take these certain actions that are now showing me and producing this result? And so when you have a growth mindset, you're open and willing to shift and adjust and change some of the core beliefs. This is probably the deepest work that we could do as humans in the evolutionary process, right? And this is the deep work that I love doing with my clients because we get to understand what are the beliefs that you're holding on to that are creating these results and how do we shift out of them? If you want a different result, we need to understand what needs to shift in your humanness, in your evolution, in your thought process. And so this willingness to change must be there to have a growth mindset. Now, when you do have a growth mindset, all of a sudden the doors open, the possibilities are there. You can actually create whatever you want from a growth mindset because you're constantly evolving and shifting and open to new perspectives, learnings, and directions based upon what you're experiencing, instead of allowing your experiences to define what your future will hold, what it will show you. So creating and starting to build up this relationship with your growth mindset is one of the most invaluable things. A lot of people that are extremely successful will share this, that they had to go through some of the tougher times and make it through so that way they could become successful. I think sometimes if success just comes easy, then what does it mean? It's always about the journey and about how did I get from point A to point B. So if you're dealing with something in your life, whatever that is, whatever that sort of point of tension could be, or a point of unresolved energy, you can take yourself through this process of asking, okay, what is working here? I love starting off with that one because it gets you into this gratitude state of mind. And gratitude can really connect us to new opportunities and possibilities of what else is out there because we're already raising our vibration and our frequency. So stepping into that space of gratitude by acknowledging what's present, and then take yourself through the next steps of figuring out what's not working here, pinpointing it, getting really specific and clear. Sometimes this can be the hardest thing if it's in communication or in relationship to someone or something else. Most of the time, our problems do stem from that because we have these outside influences that kind of shift and shake us from where we usually stand. So, when you can really, really pinpoint, that's when you can come into the next step of discovering what are going to be these new commitments that I'm making so that way I can get the most out of this. I love to think about the the idea of, when I'm a grandma, what story do I want to tell to my grandchildren about this experience? And especially when I'm feeling really stuck and I can't get into that growth mindset, I bring in my future self to the rescue, because present me is like, I don't know what to do. I'm losing my mind. Like, I can't figure out a solution. So call in your future self to remind you of the other possibilities and other ways that you can be moving through and stepping into that growth mindset. So, what is that legacy that you want to be passing down? What is the story you want to be talking about when you talk about this terrible, rough time that you had, this awful experience or this crazy circumstance that came into your life? What is the story you want to be telling about how you moved through it? That is a growth mindset. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed talking about it, as it got me energized and remembering how important the growth mindset is, because every single setback I've ever had, the ones that were the most challenging were the ones where I was not able to get into my growth mindset quick enough. Because I was holding on to this past idea, past belief, past version of myself so strongly, I didn't want to let it go. So it was the resistance to all the change that made it tough. It actually wasn't the change itself. And anytime that I've had a big, bad, heavy circumstance come to me and I was able to shift into the growth mindset, magic happened immediately. This is the power that you have, and I'm so excited for you to start exploring this after hearing this process that you can take yourself through. So thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and ring the bell if you hadn't, and I'll see you on the next video.